Hey everyone, welcome back to Real Talk NFT, where we talk all things Web3. Very excited today to have on George from WERT. That's a licensed virtual currency and a Web3 payment provider. Welcome, George.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. And I have a selfish question, George. You're from Estonia. I don't know much about Estonia, but I know I've heard it before. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
Sure. I'm from Georgia, but I live in Estonia. It's a small country in the Baltic Sea region in Europe, famous for digital governance. So most of the government services are provided digitally. Everybody has a digital ID, so you don't need to do anything. I mean, you don't have to go to any government institution to receive any services. So everything is done online, opening companies, opening bank accounts, filing taxes. Everything is digital and online. Even voting is done online. So it's kind of a cool thing. And if you want to sign a document, you just sign it with your ID card on your laptop and send it over email. So it's even better than DocuSign or any other thing. And Estonia was on the forefront of innovation, and that includes crypto and blockchain. They were one of the first European jurisdictions to offer cryptocurrency licensing. So they've set up rules and regulations and in the process for companies to set up a crypto license, and they would regulate and oversight the operations. And it's a cool thing. It's kind of a wanted thing in crypto world. And also Estonia was the only country in the world that planned an ICO. They planned an ICO in 2017. They wanted to issue digital euro, but then European Central Bank told that only European Central Bank can issue euros, whether it was digital or not. So the plan was abandoned.
I see. Wow. Seems like we can have a lot of lessons from the country because we're a little bit behind in jurisdiction and regulation here. Seems very progressive. I heard voting. Has they been progressive enough to implement any DAO infrastructures?
They have a licensing for DAO and a legal framework for DAO. Okay. So you can set up a DAO and set up a legal entity that will substitute and proxy DAOs in real world. So they call it a partnership, like partnership style, kind of an legal entity. So DAOs here are legal, and it's a good place to establish a DAO if you need to, to do basic operations, salaries, payments, everything. You can do that.
Oh, nice. Wow. Well, I know we're still working out those kinks here for ourselves, and a lot of people have arguments about what a DAO is. Tell us about yourself and your background, how you got into creating WERT.
Sure. I'm in crypto industry since 2013. Wow. I had a previous company called CryptoPay. It's still up and running. It's a crypto wallet, custodian wallet, exchange, and prepaid card issuer. So we were the old company. We started in issuing cards in 2015. So it was a big success. But in 2019, I decided to part ways and do my own stuff. So in 2020, I've established WERT, which is a totally different thing. It's a B2B2C company which works not for retail users, but for other crypto companies. And we help DAOs, non-custodian wallets, NFT marketplaces, games, or basically any Web3 business to onboard their users through a payment. So the most of the interaction with Web3 happens when you're doing a payment. And that's where we kick in. So if your consumers don't have crypto, but they need crypto to interact with your application, or they need crypto to buy something on a platform like an NFT, then we can help those companies to onboard those users through a credit card purchase. So it works like Sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to mention that it's much needed because I tried to do a transaction on a NFT loaning platform, and the gas fees, the transaction fees were $30 just to process that. And even if they could hide it amongst a credit card, transaction and make it easy to onboard, I wouldn't mind paying with a credit card versus, my cryptocurrency that I want to keep. And what's the gap here? How come a lot more companies are not choosing to adopt this? Is it hard to integrate?
No, it's not very hard to integrate. There's a competition on the market, and we're not the only company on the market. So it happening is just not lucrative. I mean, it's a payment thing. It's a convenience feature where you can buy with ETH or you can buy with a credit card side by side on a checkout stage. We have companies like Non-Origin, which is owned by eBay, using our service, but it's a B2B thing, so it's not really in the consumers minds what we do. And also, sometimes we're kind of hidden, meaning that our branding is very generic, and the payment page that we host is usually done in an iframe. So sometimes consumers, they don't even realize that they're doing the transaction with us rather than with the platform.
I see. Can you give us a peek behind the curtains of how you reconcile the crypto with the fiat?
Yes, sure. So whenever the consumer want to buy an NFT on the marketplace, which has our payment widget enabled, they usually find a button like buy with a card, click on it, enter their credit card details, their basic details like first name, date of birth, and yeah, that's it. And then we charge their card and then interact with the smart contract, which governs the minting, issuance, and transfer of the NFT on behalf of the consumer. So the consumer receives the NFT directly from the smart contract or mint contract or whatever is the method behind it directly. We never hold the custody of the NFT. So they are always the first receiver and the first owner. And they also don't need to purchase, in this scenario, they don't need to purchase any crypto, which is great from tax perspective, because when you buy cryptocurrency in the US, in the UK, and some other countries, cryptocurrency is treated as a property. So when you buy, it's a taxable event. And when you convert crypto into an NFT, it's also a taxable event. So you have to report those. And that's not cool and that's boring. So it's easier to buy with a card and be happy about it.
Yeah, now you make me want to buy all my ongoing NFTs with a credit card because of that purpose. And that's why I asked the question, because I still try to buy a lot of NFTs today, and some providers don't have the onboarding with credit cards, and I just don't understand it. We're 2-3 years into NFTs now. It doesn't make sense to me. Why doesn't every company have that option?
That's a very good question. Yes, but I guess sometimes they're sacrificing user experience and convenience, in the favor of stability and some core features that the functionality lacks. I mean, you better fix the smart contract rather than onboarding in case there's an issue.
I see. Makes sense. Yeah. The user experience is definitely very, very important. But if you gave a pop-up and told me like, hey, do these extra steps so you don't have to pay this much more taxes, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, being a more NFT-centric community and podcast, something that you have really, caught our attention. You mentioned NFTs, as part of your payment provider services. And on there, we see a mention about warranties. And I know you've been highlighted on a couple of articles about that. Can you talk to us about that?
Sure. So we did a partnership with a company called Avata, which is a technical gateway for regulated insurance. And with that company, we've built a warranty product, we call it. It's not insurance as it is. It's warranty. But it works in a way that in case there's anything wrong with the smart contract, that governs the NFT. You know, the contract behind the NFT. If anything goes wrong with it, or it got hacked, there's there is a malicious attack, or basically the purchaser, the user, cannot use the NFT, cannot move it, cannot use it, or they wake up and there's no NFT in their wallet because it's get hacked. I mean, the smart contract behind the NFT. Then they can make a claim and receive the purchasing price back.
Wow. Okay. So to clarify, yeah, I misunderstood it personally. So it's not insurance; it's a warranty, and it's based off of the contract that houses or is the provenance for that collection.
Yes.
Got it.
So
and
imagine you as a consumer buy an in-game item for a game, and the game got hacked, and all the NFTs are now thrown away. Or something like that happens, and now you have an option to to get covered, to return the NFT because it's faulty.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, there are probably a lot of use cases that I'm not aware of. I'm more of an NFT collector. Gaming is definitely taking the front stage, so that definitely makes sense if you spend your hours and years investing into those assets only for it to be gone, and not your fault at all, by the publishers or the gaming company.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Got it. And I read somewhere that it's on the buy side, right? There's an added cost initially,
yes,
and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's an opt-in, so you can opt-in, opt-out. If you don't want, you don't buy, of course. There's a small fee that you pay, and that's it. You receive it. So you can later on claim if you want to claim. Hopefully, it's not going to happen. But if it's going to happen, you can do that.
Got it. I don't know about you, but United States warranties have a bad taste in consumers' mouth. How long is this? Like a lifetime warranty?
No, it's 3 months.
3 months. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
So it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's a product that is that doesn't cost a lot. And still, for new users that are just in the game, it's some kind of a comfort that you can get, because at least you are covered from some malicious attacks or hacks of the game, that the assets of which you are purchasing. It's not a magic pill. It's not a protection against all the bad things in the world, but it's better than nothing.
Got it. How did this come about? Was it users that brought this issue with you? Was it games? Was it collectibles?
So this is our partner that offered us this service and offered us to create this service where you get this warranty during the checkout. There are a lot of hacks that are happening in Web3 gaming and in the Web3 space, basically, that are not really talked about, because it's kind of, people don't like sharing that something was wrong. And this kind of a thing is if the project, there's an audit of the smart contract always. But in case there is no audit, or it's too complex to get audited, it's a good substitute to it. But it's, again, it's a consumer product. It's something that consumer buys, and we don't really have to have any relationship with the issuer, with NFT collection. We don't need to sign a contract with them. Everything is done independently. Then there's own assessment, so it's a different thing.
Makes sense. Well, maybe other people have asked you this question. It's kind of in the line of warranties, but will there be other products that help support collectibles, NFTs, game assets in the future? Maybe in insurance products, because they are assets, right? And there's a lot of insurance out there. I'm not sure if you have any views on that at all.
There is a problem with this. There's an issue with this. Is that the biggest attack or the biggest risk that's happening is hacks of the wallet. So consumers are losing access to the wallet. They're getting hacked, scammed, phishing attacks, and so on. And this is something that you cannot really cover. No insurer will cover that because those are, those unfortunate mistakes that are done by the users themselves. They've eventually, it was them who clicked the link or whatever, confirmed the transaction, and it's not really coverable. You cannot insure that. It's like when you do an insurance in the house for the house, and you shouldn't be leaving the key in the front door under the mat. You will never insure your house then.
Right. That definitely makes sense. Yeah. Because a lot of these fraudulent activities are approved by the owners of the wallets themselves. So through phishing scams and fake and spoof sites and whatnot and emails. So
that's very unfortunate, but there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, yeah.
You're right. Yeah, definitely. I come from the cybersecurity world back when I was working in Web 2. So definitely, there wasn't any insurance products. There was just a lot of levels of security built around, mass infrastructure that needs to be, brought up because, a lot of these companies will be housing our assets per se, and it could be taken even from big companies like we've seen before. So here's a question that you might have seen a lot is how do we address this trust deficit? How do we fuel mass adoption? A lot of people don't want to put everything, like we just said, into a wallet and only for them to be tricked and get it stolen. I know you're not a security expert. I know that you're a payment provider, but I think that you have some insight here.
I'm in the industry for 10 years and I've seen so many hacks and, nobody's immune to hacking. Even big exchanges like Bitstamp were hacked because of social engineering, and there are even smart people do stupid mistakes. So it's unfortunate, and you can't really avoid it. But the biggest, the biggest remedy to all those hacks is user education. Explaining what is the private key, explaining what is a wallet, how it works, that everything is, that all the payments are final, all the transactions are final. There's no chargeback thing that you can do with Visa and MasterCard. So, it's only your decision that affects. So there's no turning back and there's no plan B. That's the beauty of cryptocurrency that gives a lot of use cases and make things easier and better. But at the same time, many consumers are not prepared to. They treat the system, they treat the wallets as as banks. If something goes wrong with your payment, you just call a bank and they make a recall, or you can file a chargeback and then you get your money back. It's not the case with cryptocurrency,
right?
Unfortunately, and I think it's a good thing. It gives discipline,
right? Yeah, I think that's a concern. Not so much for myself, but maybe you've seen on your end. You just mentioned the word chargeback. Does that happen? I mean, because if you buy the credit card, buy an NFT, with a credit card, and someone calls a payment provider and like, hey, I didn't authorize this. Is that an issue with the industry at all, or not at all?
This is an issue, of course. This is an issue. It's called it's fraud. Yeah, right. There are different types of fraud. Sometimes people just don't like the NFT that they received and they want their money back. And it happens. Sometimes there are issues, they received the NFT, but it's not like what they wanted. Or, it happens. They were, they bought a land in a game and the position of the land is in the wrong region.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Maybe they meant to buy a certain plot of land, right, per se, and then yes. that could be a big hurdle for. I can see now why maybe some platforms don't want to integrate credit cards for that reason. They don't want the chargebacks. Yes. Interesting.
There are chargebacks, but those are consumer rules. The chargebacks are not. It doesn't matter whether you sell through Ethereum or you sell through a credit card transaction. You, as a project, if you're selling something, you sign an agreement with the consumer, and this agreement is usually governed by consumer protection laws. And in many cases, you have a right as a consumer to return the item.
Oh, right.
And it doesn't matter whether it's credit card or ETH.
Right.
That's it's a big issue and not everybody understands that.
Right.
Especially in Web3 space, if you sell something, if you're an artist and you sell something, consumers have rights.
Right.
And they have a right to return and request a refund, or many things.
Yeah, I did read about that, where consumers are trying to take advantage of this. This was like 2 years ago, where maybe they didn't get a rare NFT that they liked, and then they were going to go through consumer protection rights. I mean, that's not a great way to highlight the good safety benefits of that. But I did hear that in the news before. What can we see in terms of innovation with maybe anything that you're doing in parts of the world? I know, like we mentioned with hack and thefts and whatnot, companies like Ledger, although not popular, we're working on, things like social recovery, on the next phases.
Oh, I'm a very big critic of a social recovery.
Yeah, it was not received well at all, but it was something at least that tried to address something. But yeah, we're seeing innovation every day. Is there anything on your front that you're seeing?
Oh, we're building seamless creation of a non-custodial wallet, so consumers can buy NFTs even without having a wallet. So
nice.
Yeah, so they don't need to have crypto, and they will not need to have a wallet to buy the NFT. They will just get onboarded after the transaction to a non-custodian wallet that we will create for them and give them access to. And they will be, you buy with a card an NFT, you have it in a wallet, and then you are free to either use their wallet or, export the keys to MetaMask and use it there. Even further, the simplicity of the onboarding and simplicity of the purchasing.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I have a lot of NFTs, but to your point, a lot of it's minted and then connected directly to my MetaMask wallet, which houses a lot of my cryptocurrency. So having a non-custodial one, I would probably prefer, because I want to keep my assets separate and not be vulnerable at just one point of attack.
That's actually a good point. Yes, it's a proxy wallet. Yeah, it can. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, there's a lot that's being worked on, and yeah, as an NFT enthusiast, I'm just always intrigued of what's happening out there in the space. As you can tell by my background, all of these are from NFTs, even though they're physical assets. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Cool. Well, awesome. It's been great hearing about some innovations. Like you mentioned, warranty is the first one I've heard. So just to wrap things up, like what's next? What's success in 2023? Maybe what's some questions I should have asked but didn't?
I don't know. Everybody's thinking. So if you look at the market, there is a sentiment that the NFTs are dead. That NFTs are dead. But at the same time, if you go to any NFT or Web3 conference, there's a lot of people there, and a lot of people building, launching, buying, issuing, and a lot of things happening. And at the same time, we can see that, everybody's saying that the NFT market is dead. So the good question is what's really happening there, and what's really happening, because we can see that the activity on the major NFT platforms is not dead. I mean, there's a lot of activity happening, but not a lot of new, big, and famous project launching. And at the same time, there is a lot of activity on conferences. So I think what is happening is real world is going into Web3, like real world projects, real world brands entering the Web3 space. And it's just footsteps. It's like small steps, baby steps. Mm-hmm. And once they grow up, we're going to see a lot of attention and a lot of volumes in the space. Absolutely.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I attend a lot of conferences. I was at one just 2 weeks ago. And surprisingly, I'm sure you heard about the NBA. They threw their first conference ever in the United States. And the commissioner of the NBA did a panel. He was sitting right next to the CEO of Dapper Labs, who runs the Flow token.
Yes.
And they're on a panel. It was public. It was streamed live on ESPN, and him talking about how NBA Top Shop's one of the biggest on branding the Web3 platforms that they believe in. So it was really bullish news for me to hear that, at least in the United States. It was great to see and hear in person. So definitely, I'm not going anywhere. I don't think a lot of brands are going anywhere. I think a lot of them are testing in this phase, at least in the state side. I'm very excited to see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's been great having you on, George. I'll put all the links on the down below on the show on how people can connect with you, with WERT, how to integrate your platform they should choose, and how to reach out to you.
Yeah, sure. It's very easy to integrate. We have integration docs. It's a normal software as a service payment company. So we have all the tools and everything for a seamless integration. It's just usually takes less than 1 day for a full stack developer to integrate the payment module.
Awesome, George. Well, been great having you on. I would love to have you back on in the future. It's like dog years here, right? 1 week could go by and things would change. So I imagine we're going to have a different conversation soon.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome, George. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.